Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your host, Bodkins. Of course, with me is my guy, Wit, and Mr. Bobby Blunts. It is our UFC 307 post-show. Holy shit, 307. I thought pretty much delivered. I mean, I will never pick against Alex Poton ever again. I mean, I'm just that round four fight. That round four was incredible. The fight was incredible. The Pena in Rodriguez fight that I thought should have been and still, but man. Incredible night, Whit. I'll start with you. You're just kind of takeaway from UFC 307.
Oh man, let's first of all let's give a hand to the fight makers for putting that on, because they definitely they definitely thought about it. They definitely some good contention up there. Gave us some cliffhangers to say, okay, well, if this fight happens, if this person wins, if that person wins, then they gotta come to head. This person may call out this fighter, that fighter may call out this one. And then I really feel like, even though it wasn't on the main card, Joaquin Buckley taking out, everybody's favorite ninja karate artist, right before the fight started. It kind of made way for what we were to be expecting that night. It's nothing like closing the prelims with a knockout and then getting to the main card and going, okay, yeah, this one is going to be something worth talking about. So I really put together. 307 was really a fun watch, and it wasn't a snooze fest. We've had a couple of main cards where the matchups were just, although exciting matchups, people that we really wanted to see in the ring, they were some snooze fests. This was not one of them. It gave us action from top to bottom, and pretty much a couple of good fights that we can look forward to. That we got to see them face, other people, but we'll probably get into that a little later. Bobby, man, what's up? How you feeling?
Doing good. The fights absolutely delivered. On point. The prelims were really good too. The judging was a little iffy. You kind of like felt the effects of it being in Utah. Now, I'm not applying that to the main event or the co-main event. I'm talking about other fights on the card that I thought the judging was a little suspect on. The co-main event, I personally didn't have an issue with, but I'm sure we'll get into that later when we break down that one. But, definitely lived up to the hype. Utah got, another classic and, went by really fast.
Yeah, let's jump right into that main event. Alex Pereira puts it on Khalil Roundtree. First of all, for any hater out there that said Khalil Roundtree didn't fucking deserve to be there, watch.
Wait.
Audio.
Bro, yep, you went out. I know you were just talking, so you were saying something. Well, go back to it, Bacchus. What were you saying? Right now, Bacchus, you are having mic issues. You want to jump in and jump right back out? Yep, can't hear you now. Nope. It's all like what? No Bacchus. Jump in and jump out. Me and Bobby will talk real quick if you want, bro.
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, yeah, Bobby. So, like, while Bodkins is getting his mic to work, we'll do the thing. So, in real life, main event, Khalil Roundtree, Poet Time. We talked about it last week. Did it live up to the hype, and how you feel about it, bro?
I think it absolutely delivered with like Khalil and the whole. I know there are a lot of people doubting him because like the ranking he had and stuff. But I think he definitely took those first two rounds. It was a very entertaining fight. I kind of wish he might have done a level change or two, because it would have just helped, with maybe maintain the distance, because Potent definitely kept, walking him down and stuff, like after he had success in the first 2 rounds. And so, that 3rd round came in and you saw the pace kind of starting to wear. He was really hitting him with that jab. The sparring with Sean Strickland that he'd been doing definitely showed the way he was kind of moving forward and just popping that jab. And he just eventually wore him down. I don't know how you thought the fight was going, but, I did think Khalil was having success in round 1 and 2. I really did not have too, I just had a feeling that Potent was going to kind of outlast him. And it is kind of what wore down with, the 3rd and the 4th. But it was a very close fight. And that's kind of how I thought it would go. I didn't think Potent was just going to roll him over. Khalil definitely deserved to be there, and he showed that. And he deserves nothing but, nothing lower than like a top 3 opponent, in my opinion, in the rankings, because he showed up for sure.
Oh man, definitely. Bacchus, you tried talking again yet? Nope, no Nick. Try jumping out and jump back in, Nick. We'll keep it going. All right. So like Bobby said, guys, I was one of those people who were advocating for people to stop tripping about the rankings in this matchup. I think in real life, somehow, some way, I think he played up to competition. Khalil Roundtree has been electrifying before then, and pretty much he was electrifying in there. Just like Bobby said, man, those first 2 rounds, I don't think I've seen a better non-scared, he doesn't scare me, let me take it to him matchup. And you're right, I can't lie, Bobby. It was a time or two where I was like, take him down, wrestle him, do something different. But Khalil Roundtree stuck to his guns, man. He said he wasn't going to go for no takedowns, and he didn't. He was not playing about that. And in real life, what I'm saying, I just want to definitely give a big shout out to Khalil Roundtree, because it wasn't a laughing matter. It wasn't nothing funny about what he was doing. And somehow, some way, when it worked out, he landed some heavy shots. And I think that is what that's what kind of cascaded into Poatan like feeling himself and going, okay, I can't play with him. I watched like one of those interviews yesterday, and Khalil Roundtree said they did a lot of sparring, but you can't simulate how hard he hits and how fast those jabs are coming, especially when he doesn't keep his hands up, he keeps his hand down, and you can't see it. And I don't know if you saw Khalil Roundtree's eye, man, but yeah, probably by that 3rd round, I wouldn't have been able to see it neither. But my whole thing is, when you talk about what's going to happen in the future for Khalil Roundtree, I think the sky's the limit. As long as Poatan's right there, everybody's pretty much finished for right now. We got Ankalaev coming up after he finishes his fight in Abu Dhabi. But for right now, like, this was the best matchup I've seen anybody do, and really right until the very end, anything could have been happening. And Khalil Roundtree gave it his best, man. And I tell y'all this. What got me was when they did the post-fight interview and he was able to talk and try to get his brain slipped out of his nose. I was like, oh my God, how is he still having a conversation? And a whole piece of nose, back, head fell out on his face. He was still talking to Joe Rogan. I think that showed his heart and his talent and what he really means for what the sport really means to him. Because he could have been like really whack and walked out and sulked over, but he was really trying to tell everybody, like, look, I dreamed about this, and even if in the loss, he's going to learn. So big shouts out to Khalil Roundtree. You definitely gained another fan. Bacchus, bro, you back? Your mic on? You got it?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We definitely can hear you.
All right.
We were talking about,
all right.
Yeah, what you thought about it?
First of all, anybody that said Khalil Roundtree didn't deserve to be there, rankings, he's 8, he's 7, he shouldn't be there. It should be Ankalaev. Turn that fucking fight on Saturday and tell me that Khalil Rountree doesn't deserve to be standing right across from Alex Pereira. I had him up two rounds to none going into the third. He did his best. He did the best of any fighter outside of Izzy against Alex Pereira in the UFC. We have not seen anybody stand toe-to-toe with him and take rounds from him like he did. Shit, most people haven't got the second round, much less all the way into the fourth round, up 2-1 on the scorecards. And in the end, the Hunter got the job done. Like, he just hunted Khalil down. I saw the same interview where he said the jab started getting him to him. You can't protect the leg and the jab. They started coming at him. It took him down, just broke his will. Roundtree was also banged up. It looked like cardio problems as well. I think once your nose is busted, your eyes busted, and you're just busted up, there was just nothing to do. And then he went to the body, and Alex Pereira has won. And it's, let me ask you guys this. You guys kind of noted, I think Roundtree deserves top three. Match up him and Jamal Hill. That was the matchup. Remember, we were supposed to get at 303. Do that in the early part of next year. Hopefully they're both healthy. I think that's the fight that makes sense next. For Alex Pereira, let me ask you, Brandon Schaub kind of pitched this out, and I've heard this before. Is the biggest fight the UFC can make outside of Conor Alex Pereira versus John Jones? And John Jones, I think, would annihilate him because of the wrestling. Is that the biggest fight? Bobby, you put your head in your head, so I'll go to you first.
Go ahead, bro.
I mean, it obviously is. Like, I'm not denying that, but like and I understand the point. It's something big enough for John Jones to get up to, because in his mind he's saying that that ain't Tom, but I all kind of think that thing's a show anyways. So no, for me, that the biggest fight is making him the biggest star, and right now he already is kind of that biggest star. Like, he's kind of eclipsed that. So what you really like, there's still a portion of fans that for whatever reason will not fuck with him because they just think he gets the cake matchups and stuff. And I'm not like trying to get in and breaking that all down, but I want Ankalaev to be next 100%. That is the only fight I am interested in seeing, because I want him to beat a wrestler. And I think he honestly will beat Ankalaev. He's been sparring with Strickland a lot. Strickland has sparred with Ankalaev. I think they're going to turn Ankalaev around, or whoever wins that Rakic fight, they're going to turn them around to their disadvantage and pair them with him. And
like in January or something, possibly.
And
I could see
if he's able to beat Ankalaev, then you're off to the races, because he has handled the last piece of criticism that anyone could even put at his doorstep. And then you could rank him number one pound for pound if you wanted to. Like, prior to this fight happening, I had Islam as my one. You had Potent as your one, and we know exactly why. I said before the Khalil Roundtree fight, I would still have that same opinion, because it is Roundtree. Though Roundtree did deserve, to be there, it was not the number two guy. So
let me ask you this real quick though. What if he's in there with Ankalaev and Ankalaev doesn't wrestle? Ankalaev's saying he's going to knock him out. He's just trying to talk his into the title fight. But so nonetheless, what if he goes in there, he doesn't wrestle? Is there still going to be a knock on Alex because of
because I think there's a very realistic chance that is what ends up happening. And everyone seems to think the way to beating him is on the feet, when they have clear examples why it is not. So you would think eventually a guy with any type of grappling like that would do it, but I could totally see him fucking around and doing rounds just standing with him, and that could be a really rough night. But at the same time, like I don't need a big name to be fighting him because he is that big name, you know.
He's going to be the A side from
like,
now on. Yeah,
I just want him fighting the best because it will cement the highest legacy from here on out.
Let me. Sorry about cut you off, but wait, I want to ask you real quick. We heard the lineage problems that Poatan had coming into the fight, like ligaments with his foot, visa problems. He almost pulled out of the. They thought he might have out of this fight, and then we were just going to get Pena Rodriguez would have been the main, and that would have been a doo-doo of a main event. But do you attribute to the struggle with Roundtree, or was Roundtree just that good, or a little combination of both?
I think it was a combination of both, bro. And once again, we got to think that, like, when you saw it happening live, I think that we got to give credit to Pierre's like mental fight IQ, because I think it was different. You know what I mean? I feel like them fighting each other, he took a minute, because that first round, it was like, okay, so he's not going to do this, he's not going to do that, and kind of analyzed it. I remember that spinning back fist that caught him on accident. It was like a chip to his nose or whatever. I think that woke him up completely, as if to say, okay, I can't really stand too far away from him, because that is where I think Khalil Roundtree was best, because he had him just far enough to not get a leg kick and just far enough to not, have him engage with his hands. But as soon as you got a chance to see it, if everybody noticed it, Pierre was down, his hands were down by his waist, but when he was at distance, but as soon as he got close enough, they was in his eye, and there was no other way for it to happen. I really think that Khalil Roundtree put on a different type of performance than they were anticipating. And when I say different type, I mean, just like Bobby mentioned, Ankalaev speaks on knocking Alex Pierre out, which is contrary to what his fighting style is. I think that they might have heard, because Khalil Roundtree say, "Hey, I'm going to stand and fight. I'm not going to do any takedowns." And they thought, this guy's kidding. If he's smart, he's going to try and take him down, which he didn't do at all. And when the fight, when they caught on to it, yeah, this is really about to be very similar to what you're used to. The light switch went off, and Pierre took advantage of it. But I mean, still, even in the sense of the word, taking advantage of the fight, Khalil Roundtree went in there like a man and held on for all his might. And I was like, how is his nose still attached to his face? Why is his eye socket, not there? And I'm talking about, he took some tough shots, and I was thinking, man, the ref is going to stop this, until it went to the body and it chopped him down, and that was it. But yeah, definitely, bro. I think it was just a matter of the fighting style being recognized by Pierre, and then him taking advantage of it. I think it was just a little different.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, he was definitely sick, Alex, and I didn't realize this during the first watch, but when I just rewatched it, he was coughing in between rounds on the bench, and at one time he blew his nose. When I saw that live, I thought it's because he got punched, but I think they were talking about him like being on antibiotics and stuff.
Two sets, I believe.
Yeah,
like twice, like double times.
But all that being said, I don't think it really had much to do with Khalil's success, because in the end, Pereira was able to turn it on in rounds 3 and 4. Right. Where you would think if that was really the case, that he would have faded there, but he just kind of blocked it out or whatever, and was able to keep hitting that jab. And Khalil, to his credit, I was begging for like a level change here and there, but the fact that he did not do it when he was getting that damaged in the fourth, and granted, by then he probably couldn't because he was so drained, but like willing to just go out on his shield like that. Like, he hit him with a couple of combos, but he just had nothing left. And
I mean, some of the hits that Poatan hit Roundtree with, I was like, man, how is he just still standing? You know what I mean? It wasn't until he went to the body where the body finally failed. But like if he would have just kept going to the face, he probably would have still, like, he was just still standing and still going. It was insane. I mean, Poton. Me and Whit did an award show last year. In January, December, we'll probably do one this year. Like, he's fighter of the year. That could have been a round of the year. I mean, in Bobby, you mentioned he has become a superstar. The whole Utah crowd, Salt Lake City, was chanting "Chama, Chama, Chama." I mean, it was giving me goosebumps. He has the best walkout in the UFC.
Well, so credit.
It's a shame we won't see him the rest of the year because they've already used him up this year by so much.
Right.
Short span of time.
But like literally before the fight started, like Roundtree was sitting in that cage for like 10 minutes and he was locked in. Like when I saw the weigh-ins, like all the questions that I had last week, he passed all that shit.
Yeah.
And he
was not phased by the moment at all. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It seemed like he wasn't throwing kicks because I think he just, didn't want to like put those openings out there. But, he did very well. Like, I could see if someone would have given Poton the first round, but I did have Khalil just narrowly winning that round, and he absolutely won round 2. But then, I mean, the way Alex was hitting those knees after he was like pressuring him with the jabs and, the gas tank, I really think it's a testament to him doing all that sparring with Strickland, because especially the way he was just like hiding behind that jab. And, I think I'm hoping they don't turn him around for December. Like
I think I gave him to when you go to Brazil. You know what I mean? Let him be in the Brazil. That imagine that crowd. If they go back to Brazil the first quarter of 5.
Man, listen, if they do a Brazil card first quarter, I feel like they have to hold them to some really, really good matchup, especially because Ankalaev is next.
You throw Ankalaev to the Wolf. You throw Ankalaev to the Wolf in Brazil. You throw him to Poton, and you just let him eat. Let Poton eat him.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Hey guys, quick question. After watching this fight, and I know we were talking about it a little bit off camera. Is there another fighter that we can say took a loss and like their stock is gonna go up even though it was a loss? You know what I mean? Like they gained some notoriety, a little bit of fame. They left it all out in the ring. Like, is there another fight that we can think of? Because I got one just in case we want to have something to reference.
Well, I said Alex Reyes, and I was thinking his name's now eluding me. The guy who fought Robbie Lawler.
Rory McDonald.
Roy McDonald, yeah.
Rory, okay.
I'll go super throwback, and rest in peace, Stephan Bonner in that tough fight.
Yeah.
He ended up, and granted, the sport was nowhere near it was now, but I mean, that was kind of some. I wouldn't say original pioneership, but original like from the beginning of the tough era.
The modern era, you could say. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm sure there's a list of examples, but recency bias is a hell of a thing, and it's hard to say, especially when you see just the reception he got and stuff. Because like, keep in mind, everyone was booing him the entire time walking up into the cage, and he's like, I know I'm here to play a role, and he gave us a fucking fight, and the UFC are gonna pat themselves on the back for doing that one for a while. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I was a little bit worried that this is not going to become a normal thing. I'm very excited for this coming, the Ilya and Max fight, because that is literally like the best versus the best, you know?
Yeah.
And that is why I want Pereira to fight on Goliath next, so he can get that same best for the best thing. And, you know, it would be appropriate to give him some time, but I also see them turning on Goliath Rakic around pretty quick. So it'll be interesting to see how much time he takes off.
And we'll get to that. What if Ankalaev? What if Ankalaev loses to Rakic? Rakic is not an easy out here.
Yeah, there we go. That was my next point. Rakic is actually a sleeper in my mind. That's almost
but that's the best thing. Then you just make that fight like that. You know, if that's the sport. So I can't wait.
Wait, what about you? Who are you going to say that the guy who lost that had the next kind of shine on him?
My thing was, I'm as a John Jones fan, I got a chance to watch the majority of those championship fights. I remember Alexander Gustafsson taking it to the wire, and I've never seen John Jones get pummeled in such a fashion. It was on the ground, it was on the feet. They took it a little bit of everywhere. Both men looked like battered war horses when the fight was over, and I'm talking about when the bell rang. I didn't even know who was going to get their hand raised, but when they screamed and knew, I was like, man, he had to win it by the skin of his teeth. But Alexander Gustafsson goes down as definitely as one of the closest matchups to beating the GOAT, at light heavyweight at the time, which his reign to light heavyweight was crazy because he literally cleaned up and down the division. But Gustafsson stood there 10 toes every round, was right there in it, and somehow, some way escaped being knocked out because I'm talking about John Jones had a crazy knee on him one time. And it phased him, but it didn't take him out. But yeah, to me, I think this is like just right around that same comparative. Khalil Roundtree at 8 deserves somebody in the top 5 so he can move up in his next fight. I think did something similar as well.
So I like Roundtree Hill or Bohovich. I think we're all in agreement. The next for Potan is Ankalaev if he beats Rakic, or Rakic if he beats Ankalaev. But who do you got? Who do you think's next for Roundtree, Bobby?
It would make sense that they run back the Jamal Hill fight. You know, he was in the crowd yawning.
Who does this and signifies yawning? I don't know. This is more like face hugger in Aliens. That's not the right.
I thought he was doing the John Cena for a second, and then I realized his mouth was open. But, I do think realistically he was there trying to set up the Potent rematch, but at the same time, I think his closest way back to that would probably be Roundtree there. But as long as it's anyone there at the top, I'm more than fine with it. There's really no reason. Like, he shouldn't be like fighting down and fighting someone at 10. You know, he should only be going up at this point. I don't know if they give him like maybe a fight night main event or something. Like, the UFC loves rewarding people for fighting the way they like to see fights.
Yeah.
And so I would expect whatever they do for him next, he's going to be more than taken care of in that way, at least. And I think he definitely needs at least 6 months off.
Yeah, he definitely needs that nose and that eye.
That eye was like flapping. But then again, you saw he had the plastic surgery and stuff, and it would not.
He said the first quarter, so the first quarter of May, he'd like to come back in the interview.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Which Diaz? Nick Diaz. He's gonna have that eye that opens up at every fight from now on, and he's gonna be a bloody mess. But if anybody can withstand that type of punishment, obviously it can be Khalil Roundtree, man. So
who do you think's next for Roundtree? When
I was looking earlier before we got on, I was trying to think of a reason for it to happen, but just to kind of wipe one of them off the map. Of course, Jamal Hill stands out. Then what I think Nikita Krylov, right? So that's an interesting fight because of course Nikita's got some knockouts, but he's got the wrestling background. Does that make Roundtree change up what he's done in the past? I don't know. Maybe not. But the hands are what we're talking about right now with 12 knockouts is exactly what I'm thinking for Krylov. So yeah, once again, we don't want him to go down. But if the UFC does something like Bobby says and gives him like a main a main event on a fight night, right? Then maybe they do which is the easy fight or easy choice 8-9 right there with Johnny Walker, who's actually been doing pretty good recently. But he just took a really crazy loss, of course, in June. But Johnny Walker is obviously with the 16 knockouts, somebody that we would expect to not have.
Here's the name, the returning Jan Blachowicz. I think Jan's like number 2 or 3, like 3 or 4 up there.
I actually want to change my answer.
Go ahead.
I give him Yuri.
That would be a fun fight.
Like that is, it's kind of like the same scenario, like for the Jamal Hill fight. Like a win against Khalil would really help Yuri, and stylistically, that's a great fight for Yuri as well. And I scratch the main event. Like that needs to be on a pay-per-view. That'd be a fire co-main event on an upcoming pay-per-view.
Yeah, I like the Yuri, or returning Yuri. Somebody like that.
When was the last time Jan fought?
Over a year ago, he had double shoulder surgery.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's been but he's fought since the draw, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
maybe. Is he? Has he? I don't think so.
We got Pereira.
There's so many fights. It's hard for. I always slip one out when.
I'm trying to think. I don't think he has. I think he is. There might have been one, and I think he lost it. And then he had double shoulder surgery. I think he lost to Rackett.
We got the draw.
Yeah,
I think the win against Rackett.
Yeah,
we got the loss to Teixeira.
So he hasn't fought since the draw with.
Yeah, he hasn't fought since the the draw happened
to Ankalaev.
Right, we got the draw to Ankalaev at.
So what happened after that? That was
we got Teixeira in June 29th of 23.
No, the Rackets are the Ankalaev fight was in like December of like 22 or something, right?
Yeah, December of 22, and then in July of 23, he lost to Pierre.
Huh. Yeah, no, I could have sworn.
So the draw happened before the draw happened, and then he fought Pierre. I thought that was. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he hasn't fought since Pierre.
Yeah, he has not fought since July 29th, 2023.
And that's when he lost to Alex Pierre. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. About a year, and so you want to get
2 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
So it doesn't show Rackage on there.
Rackage was before the draw.
Rackage was the fight right before the draw.
God, why does that feel like 4 years ago?
Teixeira beat him before that.
Yeah. Okay. Teixeira beat him for the title.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then he beat Rackage to get back into the title, had the draw, fought Poton, and then Poton beat him in a close decision, and then went and fought for the I mean, that's
Khalil
how
is so
Poton
young.
is like.
That's why I prefer Yuri. I think that's a tough fight for Jan to come back to.
Yeah.
Not just kind of Polish power.
I definitely like it. You want to come back? You want to get back to the title? You want to fast track it? Beat Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah, I like both. I kind of like it all. I do like the Yuri fight. That would be fun. Two interesting characters there. Let's get into really they kind of coincide. Kayla Harrison, not her best outing, but wins by decision. And we get to the co-main event. I did have Raquel Pennington winning 3-2. It was that first round. Outside of that, that's the questionable round. If you want to tell me Juliana won that round, I'm okay with it. It wasn't a robbery. We can get rid of that notage. I'm saying I had it for Pennington. But Juliana wins, and then they flash to Kayla in the back, like this is what we're supposed to do. We're flashing to the back. You know, she's supposed to call out Juliana, or she's supposed to call out Kayla. And what the hell does she do? She calls out none other than Amanda Nunes, who's not over in the building, nowhere to be found, nowhere. She is training, I guess. There's video of her now training.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, they've never done that before.
Yes, they've never done that before. She no-sold Kayla, and they had the exchange. We got to go back to what was it, Thursday night at the presser. She said, "You just got here," and Kayla said, "I've been here, fool. I got 19 wins in 3 years, and you got 10 wins in 10 years, bitch." And it was incredible. 10-7, Kayla. Bobby, I want to get your thoughts. We'll start with you. You just on the co-main and the whole Kayla and Juliana situation.
Yeah. So I'll get to Kayla's fight after the co-main. The co-main, I scored it in real time, and then I went back and rewatched it, and I pretty much had the same thoughts, I guess. So I know most people had it 2-2 going into the fifth.
Yeah.
I actually had Juliana winning round 1, round 2, and round 3, and Raquel winning rounds 4 and 5. The round 1 is pretty much the decisive round. It was razor close.
Yeah.
Raquel definitely landed kind of the more damaging shots. She hit her with a really good uppercut. And that was towards more the end of the round. But Juliana definitely still threw more strikes. So I narrowly just gave it to Juliana in the first. And then the second and third round, I don't think there's much discussion on who won those rounds. Those were clearly her. And then, Rocky's corner kind of said, "Hey, let's get it going. Let's make it a fight." And then she immediately, hit her with that head kick and ended up knocking her down in round 4. So that is clearly Rocky. And then I just narrowly gave her that fifth, but I thought she needed a finish going into that, but I saw most scorecards had it going 2-2. So most people, I think, gave Rocky the first
round 1.
I had to turn the commentary off on the rewatch because it was I don't know. There were a few things
a little biased.
I wouldn't call it biased. There were just things I flat out disagree with and didn't see. So I turned it down because I didn't want it to mess with my, I was trying to be biased. And for that, I need the mute button, I guess. But like you said, I can't really consider it a robbery in the, 10-point must system. It was a split scorecard. So it was a razor thin close. But I think the fight definitely delivered, especially with the anticipation. With how good at how Juliana is on the mic, that is why I was a little disappointed that she didn't do the no-show. Because at that point, they showed Kayla's face, and she wouldn't have been able to say anything. And, they gave her the floor to pretty much say whatever she wanted. And, I understand why she's asking for the Nunes fight, but I don't know too many people that are asking to see that. And it was clear on Dana White's interview at the Contender Series that he's talking about if Amanda comes back, it will be to fight the winner of Kayla. I mean, we know their mind is made up. You don't pan that camera angle without knowing the decision is made.
Yeah.
But like I said, when I broke down the Kayla Harrison fight, I did think it would be competitive. I think Kayla did a great job at showing her strength. She was able to really hold her down and stuff. But, she did get hit up with that elbow, and you saw that hematoma. But she absolutely
still got 2 black eyes. I saw the interview today, or It's still pretty bad. Or maybe she was on her Instagram talking about Florida. I saw, and I was like, oh, she still kind of beat up.
She had a little bit of a black eye.
I found it a little interesting. She cut to 136. I thought she would like do the championship weight, but at the same time, when she was talking about not feeling well and stuff the week upcoming, and she was like peeing blood and stuff, it makes sense why she didn't want to, torture herself for that last pound. So, if I knew that information going in, I wouldn't even have questioned it. But, it's going to be interesting to see what she does with Juliana, because she seems to really rely on that one entry for the takedown. So I'm interested if, that's going to change in the Juliana fight. But I think that's a really good fight coming up. And I think they need to book that thing yesterday. Give them a week to heal and set up a date. It doesn't have to be right away, but at least get it on the books.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of got the cards played out. January would make sense for me for that fight.
Yeah, definitely.
You're working on the December card. I don't think they'll add that one to the December card, but I think definitely open the fight of the year with Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena. What was your thoughts on the whole situation? Go ahead, Bobby, real fast.
Sorry, one last thing. I think the weight cut for sure will determine that, Kayla's definitely going to need some time. I don't see her doing anything on short notice. Yeah, I think December is absolutely on the card, but early 2025, I think you're right.
And then what you do is you winter that, and then if you can get Amanda Nunes back, you wait till International Fight Week, the return of the Lioness versus one of these two. You're welcome, UFC. Wick, go ahead.
Yeah, man. You guys kind of pretty much hit the nail on the head. I was in that mindset of watching the post fight with Raquel and everybody, and I'm like, wait a minute, they just threw Kayla on the screen. Like, how did they do that? And I'm gonna tell y'all, it looks like they didn't even tell Kayla they were going to do it. I looked like she was watching, just the stream like everybody else, and like all of us. She's like, what? She's like, no. Some way. Juliana was the truly have.
Hey, wait, you're choppy. You're choppy. Choppy. Now we can't hear you.
Can we?
Now you're good.
Okay.
Something about that corner spot just fucks up the audio.
But yeah, seriously, when it was happening, I really thought that it was something that was completely unplanned, and Kayla just got caught off guard. Juliana, of course, she did her thing. Bobby said the rounds were somewhat in a place where, to the naked eye, you couldn't really tell if Raquel was doing what she normally does to her opponent. She got her in a really tough position in which I had to look back and go, okay, this was more like 4 rounds, second, whatever. For me, completely, it went the right way towards the end of the fight. But it got a split like 4-4. And I just was like, well, look, it's a toss-up. It's a split decision anyway. Did it go in the right way? There are some people, of course, who are going to completely disagree with it, completely going to go with Rocky because, she really has a really big fan base. I felt like when I got a chance to replay it and like rewind it, I felt like you could hear the crowd like gasp when they announced it. Like all of the air went out of the building. But shout out to my people from Tapology who do follow me on IG and my guy, Worldwide Champ. What's happening? Tapology, out of 6,386 people in the community, 33% had Juliana Pena winning this fight to the match happening. So that tells you, and these are pretty much everybody who watches MMA gets like the stats and stuff like that. That tells you how much of an underdog, Juliana was in this fight. I think for sure, just like Bobby said, they're going to have to figure out a way to get the Kayla Juliana fight happening probably in the early stages of 2025. But then a great place, just like you said, that if they do that Brazil card and they throw out Ankalaev or whatever for Poatan, and maybe they hold off until, like I said, international fight week just to make it really good. They got the Brazil card, and the Lioness comes out. They do the winner of Julia versus her. I mean, I think that's setting up for a really big Brazil card. And who knows? Maybe even they throw old school Jose Aldo on there, who somehow got a little help from the judges as well. But we have that.
Yeah, real quick, we'll get into the Jose Aldo. A lot of people not a fan of Mario Batista's style. I didn't really feel like I thought he won the fight fair and square. Aldo didn't really do a whole lot; just kind of stood on the back of the cage, and I mean, just kept doing takedown defense. Were you guys fans of that fight? I don't know. People are hating on Batista here. Wait, I don't understand it.
To me, man, it was one of those where we wanted to see the old Jose. We wanted to see him come out and be wiry. We wanted to come out and see him, get his opponent to the ground and do a lot of the things that we remember him for when he was in his prime. We didn't get that. We did not. And I think that when you think about it in a nostalgic way, like I tend to do sometimes, especially fighters like Jose, who's had a storied career, when we see them do the complete opposite, it throws our mind into a little bit of a frantic space. Did he still do enough to win the fight? He did, but it wasn't what we are used to. And so that's why I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, the scorecards," and shout out to Ron Nakamura, who got a chance to Jason, who got to be on the show with us in his little live on X, with the conversation and everything. Like, they were going crazy because of the judges cards. And of course, for me, it just once again has to do with the good old eye test. Like, what did your eyes tell you as this fight was happening, to be honest with you? And for me, it looked as if we were trying to have Jose do old school Jose things, and he met a different opponent with Batista. And Mario Batista took him to where he needed to be so he could win.
Yeah, Bobby, what was your thoughts on that one? And what's kind of next for Batista or Aldo? I didn't understand this matchmaking with Aldo and Batista. Like, why are we throwing the legendary that is Aldo to a young wolf? To me, I'll just throw it out real quick. I think Aldo and Dominic Cruz makes the perfect sense at this point in time in their careers. To let the two legends duke it out at bantamweight. We never got that fight. That's the fight to make after the loss for Aldo. Batista just let him keep climbing the rankings like a Dominic Cruz, or not Dominic Cruz, but Song Yangdong or somebody like that, or even Cheeto Vera. I think for Batista would be great for him. What you think, Bobby?
Yeah, so the fight, I actually scored it for Aljo, or not Aljo, what am I saying? Aldo.
Yeah.
Mainly because the stalling, I don't really score that because he's not doing any damage. So Aldo was able to, stuff every single one of his takedowns. But, credit to Batista for realizing he could just hold him up on the fence. And, I understand it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but he's using the rules to win the fight. So, to him, getting the win is more important than getting the $50K bonus, which is fine because, he's up there in the rankings. But, he did everything he needed to do. And as far as what's next for him, I would say, little bit of a step up, maybe someone closer to his age, and see what he could do. But he definitely is showing that he can be an up and comer. Like, if Sandhagen doesn't have anyone, I would love that fight.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Real quick, we got to I want to talk about the Wonder Boy Joaquin Buckley fight real fast. Whip mentioned it at the top. Buckley knocks out Wonder Boy in a fight that I thought Wonder Boy was possibly winning up until then, and then Joaquin just knocks him out on an overhand, puts Wonder Boy down. I think personally, I love Wonder Boy, and just mainly because I'm a Tenacious D fan, and Wonder Boy is one of the nicest guys in the world. But it might be time for him to, put the gloves down. And for Joaquin, he called out Kamaru Usman. I don't really like that fight. Usman's guy.
I love that fight.
Really? Okay.
It's
Why?
like compared to his last call out,
It's better than asking for Conor McGregor. Yeah.
All right.
I don't think it's time for Wonder Boy to put him down yet, though. I know seeing him go down like that is never fun, but he was winning that fight up until that point, or it was at least 1-1. So it is clear that the UFC is still giving him extremely tough matchups. And I think it goes back to that time he turned that one fight down because what's his name missed weight.
Pereira.
And so unfortunately, I think they're going to give him another young, tough, up and coming buck. I really wish they would give him something more.
They'll probably give him Michael Morales.
I mean, to me, I think it should be MVP. I know stylistically, a lot of people will think that's a snooze fest, but I think it's the best fight you could do for both of them. But then you run into the same thing of the young buck, but at least stylistically, that works better.
I mean, you got it right there. We saw Poachon and Khalil Roundtree not take each other down. Maybe we see a karate fight, the MVP and Wonder Boy.
For Joaquin, I like Sean Brady or JDM before I like Usman.
Yeah, I think they're matching Gary with Covington, or I would love them to do that. But it's, he's got nowhere to go but up to the top now. He's solidified himself as a contender. And, who would have thought, the same dude that had that loss to Kevin Holland would be able to, reshape himself down at 170. So,
he hasn't lost. He's undefeated at 170. Yeah. So, I mean.
So I know a lot of people don't like his personality, but fighting-wise, I'm absolutely rooting for him.
Same. I think I've told you, Bobby, his personality rubs me the wrong way a little bit. But I want to like him because he's from St. Louis. He's from Missouri. So I feel like I got to root for these Missouri guys. We don't have very many, and he's kind of the bright spot. But, man, sometimes some of the stuff he says, I'm just like, shut up. I do. I like him. I would like to see him and Sean Brady or him and JDM go at it. But what about you, Whip, for Joaquin Buckley, real quick?
I was doing the JDM. I put that down on my phone with my notes. And like Bobby said, it's a better call out than just screaming Conor McGregor from the bottom of the map. You know what I'm saying? I just want a lot of money. That's all that is. But at the same time, when you say Kamaru Usman, that is a feasible thing. I think Usman is waiting for an opportunity for where he just takes one fight and goes straight to the title. But it hasn't really arisen for him yet. But hey, who knows, man? Maybe Joaquin gets another one in, and then he may have a point to fight someone in the tier of Kamaru. But for some reason, and this is just me, I feel like Kamaru is one of those guys where you don't want to poke him too much, because then he comes out and he barely lost before comes out, right? He barely lost.
Yeah.
He barely lost that, and he did that after like a 8-day notice. Don't give him a full training camp, people. This is not what you want.
He's too big. I don't know. Kamaru keeps talking on him in his stupid podcast with Henry Cejudo. They're taking their shirts off and everything else. He's not. I don't know if he's really interested in fighting.
It's one of those things where I think they like like Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark really likes still being in the life and talking with athletes. Kamaru Usman loves being in the light and having a conversation with athletes. He don't got to do nothing. He has the intellect to have those conversations. Cejudo has the background and the resume to have those conversations. Being an Olympian and a champion and all that kind of stuff like that. So it works for him. But I really feel like Usman is one of those guys where don't get it twisted. You shake the old man long enough, he's going to come off the porch, and that's where I think is going to in 2025. I think he's going to have a good fight. And that's where I think we'll see. But I'd be interested to see if it's somebody like a JDM, or Joaquin Buckley wins somewhere else at the beginning of the quarter, and then he gets to call out Usman again. I think that'll be what exactly. I can't wait to see clips on TikTok or on YouTube of him after his reaction from hearing his name being called on the show.
I'm ready to see some people out the rankings. Usman, Colby Covington, get him out. Get him out.
Usman's no-sold the Buckley call-out, and I have a big feeling it's because he's waiting for them to announce the Bilal matchup. I do believe Shavkat is next in what they're trying to do, but unfortunately, it would not shock me if they just tried to scoot Usman in there.
Yeah, they've been going back and forth on Twitter. Kamaru says he's trying to get right. I mean, them knees ain't getting any younger, Kamaru, so we'll see. Whit, before we get out of here, is there any boxing news we need to catch up on?
Oh, you asked me the right question, my friend, because
yep, we didn't get any of that. No, still didn't. Nope.
We can't hear you.
No boxing news.
Oh, wait, there we go. You got me?
Yeah.
It's a really good card.
What I was saying was there we go. What I was saying was there is boxing this weekend. So big shouts out to everybody out there. Riyadh season, you know how it goes, man. When it's going down in Abu Dhabi, it's really popping off. So right now we got Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol right there at the undisputed light heavyweight title. This is actually a really good one. Two guys, one in which if you looked at him, he probably looks like he hangs with Islam Makhachev, and somehow, some way, he actually does train with a lot of the guys from Dagestan. Artur Beterbiev, a fighter's fighter. Dmitry Bivol is the guy with the brains, the skill set, the longevity in the fight game, with 23 wins, no losses. Artur Beterbiev right now 20-0 right now. This is going to be a good one, but of course it's in Riyadh. It's going to be in the middle of the day. So the fight, the card starts at 1. That means we're looking at about maybe a 5 to 6 o'clock start time for the main event. So let's keep our eyes open for that. It's going to be, of course, a co-promoter with Matchroom, Queensberry, and World of Boxing. And World of Boxer is going to be in the Kingdom Arena. As we look at, let me see, click on the main event. Right now, it's a little split. We got 73% out of 685 people on Tapology going with Bivol by decision, and then the other 27% got Beterbiev by knockout with the 27. So I'm excited to see this one. It's been a lot of noise being made about the heavyweight division in the last couple months. The light heavyweights are making some noise. Bacchus, you sent me something that I had to look into as well. My guy, everybody's guy, the Mexican monster, David Benavidez, got a huge fight right now against David Morrell, quote unquote, one for the fan. I'm interested to see how that goes. Of course, everybody knows somehow, some way, chasing Saul Canelo Alvarez gets you nowhere. You have to do your own thing. And somehow, some way, I think, Benavidez is realizing that. But this is one of those where if he does it the right way, there's only maybe one or two places he can go for a payday fight, which would be up against Canelo. So, we'll get some more information on the Benavidez Morrell fight in the coming week. For right now, the boxing world will be focused on Beterbiev and Bivol this weekend in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I'm excited about that. So keep your eyes open, boxing, and make sure you keep your head. Check yourself out.
All right. Well, this has been another great episode of Head Kicks and Haymakers. We'll be back here next Wednesday. Is it the Bobby? Real quick, you had something about the PFL you wanted to get off your chest, so I'm gonna let you. Give you the floor.
I'm almost thinking to just open next week with that.
Okay.
Because Yeah, I'm curious what these next few days are going to be promoting wise. So
is next week the Clash of the Clans or Clash of the Titans or Rumble of the Jungle? Is that the next weekend?
Yeah, it's the following weekend. It's in like 10 days.
Yeah, so we'll look at that card. The UFC's back at the Apex, so fuck it. And Chris Barnett's not fighting. That fight got pulled.
That is a really good card, though. I know we ran out of time, but that like for an Apex card, it's pretty stacked. The winner of the main event is by far the #1 contender. Got a young Japanese prospect versus Raw Dog, so definitely lock into that one.
Yeah, you got Chitty on the card.
And Iron Turtle, the co-main event
as well. So there is a couple names out there. Nico Price was coming off a big win. Is on the card. So the main event is worth tuning in because that's probably your #1 contender for Alexander Potoja. So if I'm not mistaken, this is this Tatsura's first fight in the UFC?
Tatsura?
No, this is his second main event they gave him.
Okay.
Yeah, his last opponent's escaping my name, but
I'm gonna look it up.
They're definitely giving him a fast track to the title, but I think it's absolutely warranted, and he is the truth.
Oh, he beat Perez. He beat Perez. Yeah, this is his second main event. He beat Alex Perez.
16-0. 5 wins with the knockouts and no submission for my decision.
Yeah, he's coming up. So him and Raw Dog could be a fun one. So we'll look at that next Wednesday. Plus, we'll preview the PFL card. And Bob's he's gonna have some choice words for Don Davis, I'm sure. So, nonetheless, folks, be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. We'll see you right back here next Wednesday night, 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern. For Bobby Witt, I'm Bodkins. I'm gonna hit that outro. We'll see y'all.
I love it.